Yeah, all right.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Yes, yeah.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, a nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you for coming this evening. Is there anyone here that has an issue, a question or concern they'd like to direct to this board that is not on tonight's agenda? Sir, please stand and state your name.
Walter Bogdan. My issue is with the assessment, property assessment. Always a wonderful topic to talk about. After 3 years in a row, of raised property assessments, this past one being 32,000. You read the assessment notice and it says does not necessarily increase your taxes. Well, my school taxes went up $239 for last year. I get the Star check. Thinking that, you know, it might be more beneficial. That went down almost $50 from last year. Don't understand that, but
Yeah,
I'm a little tired of this, 3 years in a row of assessments going up. It's fine for somebody who plans on selling their house. The property value is rising. But for somebody like myself who plans on passing quietly in their house, it doesn't do me any good. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any solutions. I don't know what to say about it, but it's seems like it's getting out of hand and it doesn't seem like there's any end in sight. I don't know if anybody would agree with me. Am I the only one to get reassessed? Probably not.
No, I would agree with you. My house
That's it.
went up, go, you still talking, Wally?
I'm done.
Okay, mine went up, from 2021 from 104,000 to 189,000. And, this year, my, taxes went up in money, $220. Every year we hear from, well, you know, it doesn't mean that, your taxes are gonna go up. Well, they always go up. Every single year they go up. This year I asked for an explanation, had a little meeting with Carolyn O'Hara upstairs. She said for the first time, ESM school district took into consideration as income, your IRA distributions. In other words, I have IRA distributions where I get so much a month to live on, in addition to Social Security. For the first time in history, according to Carolyn O'Hara, that ESM voted to put that on as income on my 1040, and then anybody else's that's in the ESM school district. Never heard of that before. Don't know how the hell they can do that without telling us that. And JD and FM did not do that. So
again, your message should be delivered to the ESM school board because that's beyond our control here. Again,
did anybody here, did they all know they were gonna do that?
it's taxable income. I didn't know they were gonna do it, but again, by law, they're entitled to it. Because you put it away tax-free in an IRA or a 401(k)(3)(b), a pension program, and it's your money, but you never pay tax. So when you bring it out, it is taxable income. So that therefore, by law, they have the right.
How could they do it and not the other two school districts in the town not doing it?
Every school district is an independent government body, just like the town of Lafayette is not got any control over us and we don't have any control over them. Every town's.
Well, every year we're sitting here telling Al he's doing a great job, but I don't think he's doing a great job because every year it goes up. And every year we complain about it and nothing happens.
Well, sir, I can only tell you what I've already put in writing. And that is what the equalization rate means to all taxpayers in the town of Quebec. ESM's budget went up 10% last year. So if you had a $2,000 tax bill, whether your assessment went up or not, your tax bill was going to go up about $200. The town of DeWitt's budget has been trying to maintain itself under a 2% tax cap. Our budget, all homeowners were treated accordingly, and my tax bills went up $400 this past bill. But when I looked at the increases in my tax bill, they were due to the budgets of the school districts that increased in multiple digit levels, not due to our assessments, because all our assessments went up. And again, the town of Lafayette pays a 33% higher tax rate to Onondaga County than the residents of the town of DeWitt do. And that's because they have a equalization rate of 75%. We have an equalization. So again, I have information available. I will forward that back to you, but hopefully you will understand that equation and how it affects tax bills. But they're really, if your assessment didn't go up in Onondaga County and the school districts and the town of DeWitt's tax bills go up, your tax bill will increase by a rate no different than any other individual throughout the county that has a similar assessed home. So Jack's case, his house was assessed, and he just said at 190,000. It's likely that then all 190,000 assessed properties in the county are gonna have the same tax bill, and for those that are in municipalities with less than 100% equalization rate, they're still gonna pay the same amount of taxes because they might be assessed at 110,000, but the state's gonna recognize that they're worth more, even though the assessor never increased the assessment. And so the controversy on this board the last couple of years has been, do we tell Al to relax on the 100% assessment? We have no control over the assessor. We have no control over the value of your properties, but we could back our assessor off on the ability to assess your property. And if we did that, I guarantee your county and school tax bills will increase accordingly because the state's gonna recognize that your property value went up, but we didn't increase your assessments. And so there'll be very limited impact on tax bill by failure to assess. And I for one am standing up here and constantly speaking on a soapbox about the value of the 100% assessment. What that does is it tells you what your property's worth. It's not being masked by a lower assessment, and your tax rate is not being masked by a equalization rate. You're seeing the true tax rate applied by the taxing entity, and you're seeing the true value of your house. If your house will not sell for its assessed value, you have recourse to take it through the Board of Assessment Review, and I do believe they're fair, and they will lower your assessed value accordingly if they felt the assessor was out of line or over taxing you. And it's purely driven by sales. I know that the sale prices in the area of any one of your homes is occurring at a higher rate than the current assessed values. That's what
I've had a
drives
lot
it.
of people complaining. I've had several, more than 10 phone calls about this. And almost all of them are all senior citizens living in the Franklin Park, Dunroven area, saying the same thing.
And
And
again,
commercial people are complaining also. Anybody else have complaints about this from
I've gotten all sorts of complaints, and I keep standing my ground on defense of 100% assessment. But I've literally, I've had more than dozens contact me over this issue. My letter went out and I had a number of people respond to that letter. And then the tax rates came out and the tax bills came out, but both in ESM and JD's budget, just take last year's budget and compare it to this year's budget, come up with a percentage and equate that to your tax bill. My guess is for most of you, it's in the area of the increase in the budget.
But JD didn't count the IRAs like ESM, his income.
Again, that's.
That's the STAR program, right?
But that's nothing this board can control, and certainly Al can't control that. That's something that has to go in front of the school board. Yes, I was probably worried about all the pilot agreements the county has given away in the last year, and therefore they shifted the burden to the. I can't speak for the town board, I'm just making a public statement about the pilots. With that, I'll ask the clerk to take the roll.
Supervisor Michael Lanko,
Here.
Counselors Rick Michelle,
Here.
Lee Hood here, Dueling,
Here.
Alex,
Here.
Hugh Renza,
Here.
and Mannion.
Here.
Okay. Let's see, is there an order here? Oh. Let's see, we'll just run down the posting machine.
Okay, so the town's current postage machine is no longer in compliance with the USPS mailing technology standards. It expired in August of 2024. We're currently under a service agreement that allows us to be non-compliant until that expires. So we have to figure out if we want to replace it by purchasing a new postage machine or leasing. Angela and I sat with our account rep last week, and she gave us some numbers with how to proceed. So I guess I'm just looking for what the board wants to do. Our current payments to Pitney Bowes is $204 a quarter, and that's our rental of the meter, because we have to rent that. It's something with federal currency. We can't be part of the postage machine, can't own it. So if we decide to lease, it would be $330.09 a month for 5 years, which comes out to $3,964.68 a year, or a total of $19,823.40 over 5 years. If we purchase the new machine, it's an upfront cost of $8,395.82, plus the monthly rental fee for the meter and software of $43.29. And then an annual service agreement of $986. It's waived the first year, but for the last 4 years, we have to pay that. So purchasing $4,866 cheaper. But the benefits to leasing allow us to update equipment more easily, and it's not a large upfront cost. But the con is that we're paying an additional $5,000. Pitney Bowes, our account rep, recommended that we purchase, but it really is up to us. We can do what we want. And then the other thing is our current letter opener is over 23 years old, and it's cutting our letters and the checks when we're trying to use it. So that's another option of purchasing. If we purchase that, it's an upfront cost of $3,500 plus an annual $253 fee. Or we can lease it for $93.97 a month. And if we purchase it, it's $893 cheaper than leasing.
Those of you that use it, do you have a recommendation?
I think definitely to purchase the Pitney Bowes machine, and then the letter opener. I kind of think it might, even though it's $800 more, it might be beneficial to lease it, and then if something goes wrong or I think it might be easier to upgrade that model. But I think either option really would be fine.
Questions, comments?
Carrie, what happens if we purchase the first product that you're talking about and it goes out of technology standards during the purchase period? We stuck with it?
That one I did.
Maybe trade it in, would be my guess.
So say the last one we did, 2016, and they gave us We leased to own it, and then when the lease was up, we ended up trading it in. So we can't trade this one in because it's out of compliance, but
If that one becomes out of this new purchase, we're stuck. I'll ask that question.
I think it would be a good thing to know that we'd have at least the 5 years of it, if we purchase it. And if, you know, some kind of guarantee that if it's not in compliance for at least 5 years, that we either have whatever the service agreement that we have now that's extending it or.
Excuse me, I have a question. On the letter opener purchase, you said there was a fee on the purchase. Did I hear that correctly?
it's a annual service fee, so that was for,
Which includes, that service fee includes servicing and
yeah.
They're usually really responsive. Kate usually handles that in my office, and they usually are here within the next morning.
and if it is leased or rented, is the service fee included in the rental or is that also?
Yeah, the service fee is included in the lease payment. The annual service fee is the maintenance.
What's the pleasure of the board?
I'd like to wait to understand the terms of the purchase versus the lease for the technology standards. Why does this need to be approved by Karen?
So I believe November 21st of 2024 is when our agreement expires, so,
Oh, you got time.
yeah.
Purchase price care on the new machine.
The postage machine
Yeah.
is $8,395.82.
Is this in the budget? I'm just curious.
No, this one was not on our radar.
Good to know. All right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Approval to post for clerk one for water.
Yeah, we're just looking tonight to get you guys to authorize us so we can post internally and start canvassing clerk one in the water.
Questions?
That's backfilling rock position that was vacated.
Yep.
Questions?
Any? I'll entertain a motion. Next, second from Jack. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Tell me. Or if you want to do your quarterly report or would you want to defer?
All right, I'll do it. Let's get it over with. So you guys should all have in your packet the monthly report. For the period between January and August 31st. I just did that whole section of time, because it's obviously passed and I didn't do one earlier. So for taxes and the town and county, that was finished up in March, and the only major note I would make on that is there was over 100 correction of errors due to the county sewer charges. And all over funded to them. The school taxes started September 3rd and we continue to November 1st. Our office will also be open on Saturday, September 28th from 9 a.m. to 1. We always are open the last Saturday before penalties are applied, so taxpayers have an opportunity to pay their bill outside of the normal hours. I included a chart of the tax rates for the 24 and 23 school years, including their rate and their warrant amount. And then this year, I've been working with Carrie. We're going to start utilizing a New York class to maximize our interest that we receive during tax time. For records management, Kate Marie and I, actually some pictures because So you could, I don't think a lot of you've been down to the records room. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. It's very boring. But here is the one side, there's 3 rows of metal shelving. Mostly our planning and zoning on that, I give them all that side, and then that's just another, they have some empty shelvings there and there, and on the bottom row there. And then that is just looking down that row, we emptied, most of these shelves were all full. So what Kate and I started doing is just organizing all of court files, which is the majority of these, and by year and by their termination. So they have like 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 25 years. So we grouped those all together so that it is easier for the clerk, the court clerks to retrieve them. And then when they get destroyed, it's easier for them to find where those are. This is looking down one of the, this is mostly courts with some tax and comptrollers over there. And this side has, this is where planning, and this, you can see where they're kind of running out of room to keep their plans. This go back to, I think, the 50s over here. And here are the new ones that they have. So very soon they're gonna be running out of room to hold their plans. This is the first court row, and then this is all things that we have to keep forever down there. There's, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 rows. Mostly all sports. So we got all those organized. We made labels for them, so each department can find their documents boxes more easily. And then we shredded approximately 180 boxes. We had the rec or parks guys come and help us put the, we started saving the empty boxes, so we didn't have to purchase boxes every year for everyone to use. And then we just keep them on the empty shelves that we have. And then we also have a spreadsheet that each department has with locations of where their boxes are. So we're supposed to be getting centralized cash collections, beginning with planning and zoning and then moving on to recreation. We hope in the next couple of months. Hawkers and peddlers, we created a website. On our website, there is a page that has that lists any of the current peddlers and solicitors that have license. They can sign up to be notified when a new license is issued as well. I gave a synopsis of my training that I went to, NISTICA in Albany, and then IIMC in Canada. That one is in May. I also started attending the NISTICA regional meetings. Those are part of my district director duties that I began this year. Civic Plus, we are utilizing that for planning board, town board, and zoning board of appeals meetings. ZBA just went on their successfully, I think, the last 2 months. And we can also start using that for other internal meetings, department head meetings, police commission, DACC, any meeting or group that wants to use it is free to get in touch with me and I can set them up for that. My office is looking into getting Laserfiche, and we've been working with Alana. I think she's probably gonna be bringing that next meeting to get a scanner for larger size files. Carrie and I have been having department head meetings. We, over the summer, it's been a little difficult, but we're on track to meet this month. Also been coordinating with the Sunshine Club for the employees. We just had a dip day and doing collecting school supplies and also doing the Halloween luncheon. And we've also started a bereavement congratulations fund. Kate has passed her notary test. There is I think 4 outstanding employees that can take the test, and then once they take those, hopefully we'll have a larger number of them. And I think that's it. Any questions?
John?
Thanks, Ann.
Angela?
Yeah.
Congratulations on your membership chair position.
Oh, I don't know how much of a congratulations. I know how much work, but thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Town board minutes at the August 26th meeting. Entertain a motion, Gary, second. Bernard, any conversation? Modification, all in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Abstained, motion's carried. Okay. Oh, I just wanted to give you guys an FYI, auction properties, there's several properties that I would like to acquire. There's one on adjacent to Maxwell Park. And I think that's been circulated in your packet. There's one on Fiddler Street Park. And there's another that doesn't necessarily connect with anything, but it's green space on the Peck Hill area, which would make a good property for location. Those have been circulated, and then there's a big long list of properties that are located on paper streets in Syracuse, behind east of the ends of the terminations of Jones Ave, Marconi Street, and Frederick. There's literally over 50 properties there. And we own at least 10 or a dozen of those properties already, plus a good area of that is ours just due to the right of ways of the paper streets. And so I talked with Doug and I talked with Rock about this, but this is state and federally classified wetlands, and it would be an ideal location for stormwater controls. And I'm an advocate of preparing for climate change and infrastructure improvements that can handle 100-year storm. But currently our 100-year storm rests at about a 4 to 5 inch rain event in a 24-hour window. We get back 3-inch rains, 3.5 inch rains in 48 hours. Many of our neighborhoods experience flooding, and you can only think what's going to happen the day we get 7 inch rain. So I'm going to put together a letter. The office of the county has recommended. We ask them, tell them what our intent is for this, and request that they give us the lands on a paper transaction at relatively no cost. So I will try to put that in writing. Backup alternative is if we're unable to secure the land in an agreement through the county executive's office, that we could go to the auction. These lands are up for auction because the current property owners have stopped paying property taxes because most of them realize it's wetlands and they can't develop, they're not gonna build. So they've been paying taxes on properties, and most of them are default. So it's understood that we could probably, the current cost of collectively paying all the tax bills on these properties is in the $76,000 to $77,000 range. We can secure them at no cost from the county. That's the preferred option, but even if we were to go to get them for a couple $100 a piece at the auction, $300 max, it'd still be $15,000, which is $60,000 bad for both the tax warrants. So I'll keep apprised of that, and I'll come forth with the other properties that I'd like to purchase outright. those properties are, like I said, extensions of several of our public parks. We have legal time before they'll go.
Regarding the auctions, we've got several properties that are real eyesores, like Benedict Road, one next to Burn Dairy. Angela had information from George Weber, Don Weber from the county. But that was, looks like that's gonna be auctioned off, as well as there's one at 6407 Kerwood Drive in Franklin Park, Dunroe section. And those two they've got signs out in front of them now. It's gonna be in the auction. And there was also one on Myers Road, but that just fell through because the owner just paid the full taxes on it, so that went away. There are several auctions, several still gonna be on the auction list.
Right. And we had an agreement a while back with the land bank. And that agreement is defunct, but in the days of zombie homes, we had a program, and we did this with several homes where we acquired them and took them off the auction block, and we paid for them. What happened then is we turned title over to the land bank. The land bank went in and refurbished the homes, sold them, and made us whole costs. The danger in that agreement is that if the land bank does not cover its costs, we don't recover our costs. So that's where we're at with that. In some of these cases, Jack, it might be better to let the private market come in, a developer or a speculator that's gonna come in and approve the project and pick it up on an auction. You know, that's. We also had that a couple of cases with the house on top. We let.
We're hoping that's gonna happen at Burn Dairy, because their lawyer, Jim Geis, his name is, he told me that Burn Dairy wants to purchase it. As soon as you turn right onto Benedict Road,
Right.
that terrible eyesore.
Right. So again, let me know if you're advising pick those properties up. Because it's, you know, it's an option. I can approach the land bank. For that as well. We've worked with them, yes, but again, the risk is that between the back taxes and the cost of remodeling and improvements to the property, the sale purchase doesn't help the increased assessments right now. Find it. But each property is different. You have to analyze it. Okay. All right. Any other questions, comments on this one? I'll find out. Date for notifications to the county. Angela's got a great relationship with Don Weber. She works with him on tax those statements, so they've been very cooperative. Okay. Here's another one I would like to do right now. We have a bid for the security improvements on Town Hall, and I know we're all anxious to get that rolling. Doug and I have met with the contractor, and we are still in a negotiation phase to adjust the cost. Some of the types of conversations that we're having is if we let the top row line protection for the employees, but right now current costs include glass from countertop to ceiling. So we're still waiting a cost estimate that if a wall was constructed, let's say it's arbitrarily 6.5 feet of height. The glass then from countertop to that box ceiling. Shooting the word to the and shooting above. We'd still want some form of protection in the wall, but it doesn't have to be to the level of the cost of the glass. So that would lower the overall cost. We're at $1.1 million in total cost right now. What I'd like to do is get authorization tonight to proceed with the execution of the contract up to $800,000. Knowing we're gonna authorize an increase in cost. But as we go through the negotiation, you can get the contractor started. Things like carpeting and whatever to be held off for a later portion of execution on the contract. And hopefully that makes sense with the contractor as well, but there are certain things that the HVAC system, we know we're starting that work now. That we're working on that. The contractor can come in and start to make some amenities. We're talking about taking the secure counter out of the recreation department, putting recreation department for some savings there. As we've seen today, we don't think we're in that move because the contractor has given us numbers back through that, but it doesn't make sense to have two secure locations for someone to come into town hall. We'd like to have it all centralized so that if someone were to come, let's say, sign up for an after school program or summer camp, they do it in a window right next to the assessor. They floor, and then they pay for that. That makes sense. Couple of things. So, have them come into recreation, sign up in there, and then they have to come out of a secure area, and go back into a secure area by walking around the floor. So those are common things that make more sense from public movement and migration in and out of the building, and they also provide some cost savings.
Thank you for the update.
Doug, did I miss anything?
No, I think that's it.
I'd love to support moving forward to 800,000.
Question, what do we have budgeted from the ARPA funds for this project?
800,000.
That
For the security,
security enhancements,
900.
900? We're gonna vote on.
Authorize up to 900.
Oh,
That was included.
software is up to 800.
Was it including the HVAC? So that's what we've already committed 100,000 to the HVAC system. That's where I came up with the number on.
So 900
Minus the HVAC, which is
800.
8.
Yeah. Vote on 800 for now.
What?
Vote on 800 for now.
Yeah.
Also, is the
I think I have a
HVAC
motion.
the entire building or just a?
Oh, it's not the entire building. What was the HVAC, what that covered, Doug? System, Rocco, you might know.
At the whole new Pasco system and then air propagation study for upstairs for all of the. Because everything's been chopped up over the years. We're gonna do a study to see what needs to be adjusted, what air ducts need to be added. Because right now it's either cold or warm and Carrie and the girls could attest to that in the winter. So hopefully we get everything organized and straightened out, and then also probably a new heat pump for the secured area that's gonna be kind of sealed out in the center. You know, walk in.
Who's the contractor on that? What you do?
The HVAC is mechanic, Davis.
Dave, I know Davis.
It's
Who's,
Thinking it's Nelson.
McGinnis
They got
Nelson.
sick.
Doug, you bid this, right? And they were the low bidder?
Yes.
that the company that did sidewalks over in Parka,
Just did.
Warrior Road?
Yeah. Any further conversation? I have a motion from Sarah, a second from Jack. Call for the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion's carried. Thank you. That will make, hopefully some things flow faster as we get these contractors in. All right, oh yeah, I mean, seeker forms, I missed, yeah, the seeker forms, this is in your packet, it's the allows me to execute on the water meter project. I didn't catch it, it says my water member. Packet is clear that the seeker form is about the meter change out.
And a couple things. So Seeker is somewhat of a complicated area. We don't have a lot of seeker determinations that come to the town board. Mostly it's with the planning board. But here the town is replacing its water service meters. And in the seeker world, there's type 1 actions which require a heightened environmental review. Type 2 actions which require minimal to no environmental review, and you don't need to have these forms, such as a setback variance for the zoning board. You don't need to go through seeker every time. And unlisted is somewhere that's not a type 1 action and it's not a type 2 action. And so for this board, based on my research, it's not enough to just have a conclusory statement that there will be no significant impact. So I'm gonna speak probably a little more than you want to listen to me here. But I think it's important to describe the project and go through some of these environmental impacts so the board can make its motion based upon the review it's done. If you look at the 2 attachments in your board packet, the first one, the part 1 of the EAF, you'll see a brief description of the project, which I'm read in full for the public. The project generally includes purchase and installation of a complete turnkey real-time radio red frequency water metering system, including but not limited to the replacement of all residential and commercial water service meters within the town with new ultrasonic or electromagnetic meters, new endpoints, new data collection, transmission units, parentheses, base stations, new data collection software compatible with the town's existing billing software, which is Teller Technologies, record keeping and training for town personnel. And you go through the rest of the form here, you'll see a lot of these questions are not applicable to water meters. See, there's a lot of no's on the sheet, which is a good thing. It means there's not a lot you have to explain as far as environmental impacts. Part I am going to read a little more in detail is the part 2. And this is the actual environmental impact assessment. And so for the public, I'm going to go through all of these and explain the town's findings. First, the proposed act, the town has found in all of these. Number 1, the proposed action will not create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation. Number 2, the proposed action will not result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land. Number 3, the proposed action will not impair the character or quality of the existing community. Number 4, proposed action will not have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area or CEA. Number 5, the proposed action will not result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkways. Number 6, the proposed action will not cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities. 7, the proposed action will not impact public or private water supplies or public or private wastewater treatment utilities. 8, proposed action will not impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources. Number 9, the proposed action will not result in an adverse change in natural resources, example, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna. Number 10, the proposed action will not result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems. And finally, number 11, the proposed action will not create a hazard for environmental resources or human health. And so based upon the proposed action and based upon the environmental impact, board can then declare that there will be a minimal impact to the environment and then it will be a negative declaration. Sorry that was so long-winded, but now I feel better about it.
Matt, is that applying to the water meters as a whole, one project, or do you have to apply that to every unique?
Project as a whole.
Got it.
So
Okay.
our project here is replacing every water meter that we have in the town. And so, yes, we would not have to go through every water meter. I would not, that would probably put.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
I already forgot my water, so I'm already getting a little hoarse here. So,
I'll just add, you're very lucky Matt did this.
Good job, Matt.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm leaving. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Take care, Walt. Thank you.
Have a good night, Walter.
all right. So there still has to be a motion by the board to take that in consideration and say, okay, there will be a negative declaration here.
You didn't get into electromagnetic radiation.
We don't need
If there will be no negative effect prior to the work being done?
based upon the review of the town, but yes, or if there was, if it
There's no
was a yes, then we would have to give a lot more explanation as far as what was going on. Because these
Yes, I
are
get that.
no's, you don't have to.
Seemed like the cart's before the horse, though.
Before we
But
can
I'm not
start,
questioning it. All right.
Seeker is very complicated. It's very complicated. I'm no expert, but know enough to know that the board has to do certain things to make it legally sufficient.
Great job.
Thanks.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to authorize execution of the suit. Max, second from Jack. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Staying, motion's carried. Thank you. Okay. Check register? Any comments, questions? I'll entertain a motion to accept the check registers from August through early September. A motion from Jack and a second from Bernard. Call for the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion's carried. Okay, town board updates, I did send you, but I got the contract kind of late. Did you guys see the wetlands contract on Carrier Park?
Yes.
Is that something that, you're comfortable with acting on tonight, or would you prefer time?
I would prefer a little more time. It didn't seem like we were under the gun right now, right?
Actually, we are,
We are.
yeah, we'd like to get this work up and rolling. It's, there's ongoing work right now with Matt Vitoli and the turf contracting company, but we had to have a October start date for construction and Carrier. As well, it's project is so critical to it, and they need to get out before leaf fall.
Yeah.
In order to identify some plant species and so on.
This is gonna be addressed at all on the 14th of September at the Carrier Park. Groundbreaking.
The wetlands is a separate issue right now. Here's my Reader's Digest version of where we're at with the wetlands. We know Carrier Park has, you would loosely classify as wetlands on site. Those wetlands, in my opinion, are not ecologically valuable. Under the 2020 ruling out of the Supreme Court, and I was opposed to that ruling, they are not likely to qualify as a federally jurisdictional wetland. And that is due to the fact that in 2020, the Supreme Court determined if a wetland was not hydrologically connected to a navigable water, it was not a federally recognized wetland. So in this case, they drain into a culvert system along Kinney Street that then empties into Sanders Creek. So by the definition of a navigable water, it's questionable whether Sanders Creek is actually navigable. And then also it's no longer hydrologically connected because it's piped. So it's not a natural drainage system. So this consultant also feels they will go to the Army Corps and get the Army Corps to determine that it is not a federally recognized wetland. There's no DEC recognized wetlands on the property, but we do have 2 earlier reports. This work right now is just to verify the location of the previously done work. So the contractor's gonna go out and that'd be required by application to the Army Corps to show the jurisdiction or the wetland boundaries. We've already done enough work that even if the Army Corps were to take a hardline stance and require us to replace those wetlands in kind on a 3-to-1 basis, we have that work done on the Feldmeyer location. And I have brought through the Onondaga Environmental Institute an additional $250,000 worth of construction money for creation of further wetlands. So we have the designs being performed through the additional wetlands that we plan to do anyways. Whether Carrier Park ever got constructed, we are looking to do flood control projects on behalf of the town and the institute on bringing natural system restoration to the Onondaga Lake watershed. So Lake Creek, which has been recognized as a drainage ditch for 150 years, it can be restored. And riparian wetlands are gonna be constructed in various locations throughout the system. So not only do we have enough acreage to trade with the Army Corps for these wetlands, but we have a far more valuable wetland being constructed, one along a river course versus a woodlot isolated in an urban neighborhood. So again, I feel comfortable with it. Authorizing this work is not going to lead to any real regulatory problems down. In fact, it's going to help us get through those regulatory hurdles.
You just answered my question, so thank you.
I did.
You did.
Please rephrase.
Thank God.
But no,
Thank God. Don't ask another. I'm going on water.
That's why you were lucky.
I'm going on water.
I should have given it to Matt.
where it's gonna come from, but you've already got it taken care of, so.
They always said we can't start until we get the wetlands.
Next time, give us the Mad Magazine.
I know. Set up. Oh, gosh. All right, with that, are we deferring?
No,
Okay,
you answered my question. I don't know if you misheard it.
okay.
You did a good job. That was great.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to authorize the execution of the contract with the wetland consultant. Jack, in a second from Bernard, I'll call for the vote on favor.
Aye.
Opposed. Same motion's carried.
See what they want. Explained it fine.
I know it's that, it's always lengthy. Snowplow contract, that's not recently arrived. Brock is good with the snowplow contract, we usually run it through him, but the county would like us to execute. The county.
I know.
Yeah. This is an annual. Ever, right before the snow season. We.
An exchange.
I still think you got a little more money, but that's.
I can't remember, how much did they increase it this year?
I don't remember, but it
It
wasn't
doesn't snow anymore, so. A good deal for the town.
a little better job. I think the service they're used to.
Is there, any objection? I'll entertain a motion in a second to exit. I have a motion from Sarah and a second from Carrie to execute the snowplow contract with the county. Call for the vote on that.
Aye.
Folks, same, scary. Okay, the other public, is I met with Jim Brang today. He is willing to donate the 3-acre parcel, along 481 over on Towpath Road. Under the conditions that it be, remain in public use and that it be dedicated as a dog park. He's got the paperwork that I've asked him to send to us, and I think he did give it to Angela. But I'm not sure if it's too voluminous to circulate via email. Haven't found that out yet. But his consultants team has put together what they believe is about $65,000 in cost. Dog park. It includes fence, parking area, lighting, the amenities that you would have with a dog park. So I'll circulate that. We're not under any time crunch, but I wanted you to know it's coming. If you're amenable, proof execution of the donation agreement. us.
Get the land first and then we probably have to bid the services.
And some of it we may be able to do in turn. Part of Salvation Road.
Get the cost under 35,000, you don't have to bid it all. I didn't do enough.
Yeah. Okay, I think, let's see, I think that's it. I wanted to.
Thanks very much.
All right. Is there any other board updates, announcements?
That one thing that Nat and I had talked about, resident called who lives at 205 Windsor. Did you put that on, Matt? Did you talk? 205 Windsor, this is the permit fee.
Oh, the permit fee, yes, where you charge double, yeah.
The situation was, this resident started a project, and I talked with Derek White, our code officer, about this, and they started what they thought was gonna be a window project on their house, and there was some erosion on the foundation, so the contractor was doing a little bit of foundation work. Somebody called the code enforcement office, and they went over there, and technically, they probably should have pulled a permit. You don't need to pull a permit for a window project, but if you work on the foundation, nothing was being enlarged, they were just fortifying the foundation. However, at that point, since they didn't pull a permit, by law, Derek has to double charge them for the permit fee. So the original permit fee was $323. And then by law, Derek then has to say, okay, since you didn't apply for a permit for this, I've got to double it. $650. The resident has requested that they're fine with paying the original fee, but they don't think it was fair that they got charged a double fee because of the situation. So I am making a request to refund that homeowner one half of the double fee, $323. Can only be done through a board vote.
Do we have any standing precedents for something similar to this?
The board has waived other planning and zoning fees since I've been here. Generally, if there's a legitimate misunderstanding by the property owner, and that qualifies, it's good to describe what happened, so it's distinguished from anybody else who wants to get permit fees waived.
As long as we're getting the fee for the difference, why you double it? Right?
It's in our code says shall, so it doesn't even give you a choice. It says it shall increase by 100%. And so it's pretty clear, but that's why it allows the board to look at all these and do what's fair for the residents.
It might be reasonable. I do know there's precedents, but the only precedents that I recall are ones that we made mistakes.
That's probably correct.
So you're entering down a path where the homeowner made a mistake, the property.
Can we hold off on this one and get a, like we do with the water fees, a formal request from the homeowner that we can?
I did get a formal request. She sent me an email that I forwarded to our town attorney.
I just didn't put it on the agenda. Put it on.
If you really want to spend more time on it, I think it's only fair. It's not an unreasonable request. And typically these things get dragged in with attorneys and they waste Matt's time. This has been pretty straightforward.
What's Derek's opinion?
Derek said it's a little bit of a gray area, but he's okay with refunding at the date.
It's a lot of it, something.
I don't even know if I brought her.
She says it's up to the town board, which it is.
Okay, no, it's up to the town board, but she's to make a recommendation.
I haven't spoken with Alana about it.
I didn't speak to Alana about it.
Why don't we wait to speak to Alana to make sure if we're gonna set this,
I'll put the
this
email- I'll
kind of
put the email
precedent,
on. I'm sorry, Carrie, got that.
Yeah. I'm totally neutral on this one. It's up to. It's the same.
Can I make a motion, Carrie?
I'll make a motion.
Second, we refund them $323.
I thought we were tabling it till we got Carrie's.
No.
or
Yeah.
Alana's.
Yeah, I want to wait.
Call for a vote.
I say we
Yeah.
refund it.
Right. Got 3 refunds.
Bernard,
Good to Tim.
been a hot seat.
I know, I should have spoke sooner. Personally, I think, and I'm just going through my mind, when we had long monies refunded, we've had precedents and or refuse on other matters. Like the grass cutting, the guy didn't cut the grass, all the back and forth and back and forth. So what is it that we're waiting, what was the concern again, that we get from Alana and or formal request from the homeowner requesting it? Did they email you?
I have, I'm looking at the email. Carrie's not lying. I can read the email to the board.
I mean, I think it's fair. If any of us were in the same situation,
I don't
My
disagree about
concern
fairness,
is-
it's the precedent that we're setting and the department head isn't even aware of it.
Well,
Mike, not aware at all.
She doesn't know what we're about to do.
but the head of our code department is well aware of it and he was okay with it.
It's okay for the codes to bring this right to the board. Alana can't really do anything about it anyways. She can't say yes or no. She would say, go talk to the board and see what the board thinks.
Okay. It's probably not that big of a deal, but almost every action of this board has future consequences. And that's why I'm cognizant. Because there are ways for these things to be. And any, you know, we have some executive committee discussions tonight regarding policies. And there's innocent people affected right now, but it leaves open a danger of abuse of the policy in the future. Same type of situation that's here. So my operation as supervisor has always been about consistency. I don't really care which way you go on this, as long as you're consistent. That's the number one thing, and
I don't recall-
we've had really difficult time.
In the 20 years I've been on this board, I don't recall anyone coming in to regarding a double permit fee. And we got a lot of us here. Never either.
No, never heard of it.
What is the
We
most,
just had one with a negotiation with the developer.
That was a huge conversion. That was
We
completely
had,
different.
we had one with the permit fees that we didn't vote over, or that had an issue with the zoning board.
And when we ended up waiving it, and that was because it was a mistake by the head of our planning department.
Board did decide to,
Correct, that's what I just got done saying.
So if that's the precedent, then good, let's just go with it.
board did decide to not increase by 100%. Upstate fees. Talking about, so.
Right.
That's the only one I.
Precedent for not doing it.
Right.
Totally different situations.
Understood, just.
I think, so for me,
But if you want to wait 2 weeks, wait 2 weeks.
I sent the email from the homeowner to all the board members. So
Thank you.
can-
I would just, for something that wasn't even on the agenda, I thought about it for 2 minutes. I'd like to just think about it longer.
Fair enough.
That's my bad. We're not putting it out.
That's all right.
Well, Matt, can I ask, what is your thought? Cause I couldn't say again, what do you?
My thought is always slippery slope. But I think if someone has a good justification, if they're coming in and saying, hey, I didn't even know I needed a permit, they found certain things that were wrong with the house and I think you would do that for any homeowner that came in here. You'd probably understand that. And it's like, it is distinguished from, someone's not getting a permit saying, hey, I want you to waive my fee, because I don't feel like paying. You know, that's a little different.
What about the next fence up and says, I didn't know I was supposed to get it.
That's slippery slope.
Right? Or the next guy that builds a garage and said, I didn't know I was supposed to get a permit.
You could tell the homeowner, hey, you gotta be more careful and you gotta
This owner's not disputing that they have to pay a permit. They're fine with paying the permit. They just think it's.
want to pay the regular fee.
But the point, and I'm not speaking to this homeowner specifically, but the point of it in the law is that otherwise, nobody goes and pulls a permit. They see if they get caught, oh, well, then I gotta pay the permit. But I took a chance of not having to pay it at all. To get rid of that, if you don't get the necessary permits before you start building, it's twice the cost to get people to come in here and do it right in the first place.
And it's always a judgment call as to whether you felt they knew.
We spend more time arguing about $300 than we do $3 million. But if you want to wait 2 weeks, then let's wait 2 weeks and move on.
I know. All right. Any other board updates?
September 11th, I know you're not gonna be here this week.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let everybody know that 9/11 will be at 6 o'clock here.
Yeah, good
Appreciate
weather,
it.
Howard.
Let's hope so.
What's the report?
You say good weather.
Okay, good.
Good luck in New York.
Thank you.
Supposed to be good weather today too. I do have a question.
Yeah.
I was coming out of the bank, and I know this is not our issue, but the weeds, trees, the bank I'm kidding, Key Bank, coming out like that shopping town side near the cemetery over there. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. You have to literally pull up past the stop sign in order to see the turn left to get to the light. I don't know what the county needs to do. I don't know what their schedule is. I don't know what they are as far as maintenance of said properties, particularly the egress and coming in and out. Since there's a lot of activity in certain parts of that parcel over there, it can become a problem. So I'm just putting that out. I don't know, what the remedy or what needs to be done, but something needs to be done.
Well, Linda Irvin used to be able, I mean, if you reach out to Nadeja, so she's on the county, maybe she can get pushed.
Okay.
Linda Irvin got him over before, but Linda's, obviously,
Have you had any conversation with them lately, Rocco? Nothing?
Wait for us to cut it for him. Good too, but
Right, I did also have, just speaking to a similar topic, a complaint from a resident about the road conditions through there that they used to cut through.
It's private by Chili's.
Yeah, beyond like, so basically from past Chili's to over to Agway.
Yeah.
That's private.
Yeah.
Is there anything, I mean, that might be adding a part of the conversation too, considering it just seems to not be being kept up, that maybe the county needs to block that off or something.
That's my opinion. I think what you need to do is talk to OSIDA, because you can't talk to the DOT about it because they say it's in OSIDA's hands.
Okay.
I almost ruined my car driving through there. It shouldn't, but it's dangerous. I should never have driven that in there.
It
But
should be closed down. It really should.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
The car
It's
was
in horrible shape.
fully submerged in a hole there.
Okay.
The only thing I'll add is I do believe it's delivered.
Oh,
absolutely, absolutely,
I don't too, but
absolutely.
I don't have no problem for me. I'll handle it.
You know, she can.
Okay,
It's.
any other comments, questions, issues? I'll go into executive session.
Oh, there you go.
I'm scared.
Patty is here for executive session, right?
So it's Kathleen.
I think everybody's here for
What about Captain White, about his improvements in the police department? Quotations we got.
Is that on the agenda? But sure, you can talk to that. I mean, I called the chief during the week. I do know that he was doing some repairs that facing an issue, a union issue. Being in framed of doing that. It's our intent to get that on schedule as soon as possible. It's my understanding. Yeah. Did you address the word over that issue?
No, not really. I was here if you needed me for the signing of the contract, whatever, for the S or GD or whatever.
The SRO?
I have it on for executive.
Yeah.
That's our,
My understanding.
Jack is.
I've seen Jack's quotes, and I think it's an emergency situation. I think we ought to get that thing fixed ASAP.
Less than 35,000.
What,
I got two quotes I forwarded. BR Johnson is a vendor on Fly Road that does doors, to be the front door for the police department. And that's 5,000.
When did you send that?
I sent it to the captain, the Ryan Goff, Rocky, and Angela. I didn't send it to the whole town board.
Me, that too.
And mandatory. I did that because Ryan Goff had requested a quote from them, and they did not give any warranty information on there, so I went back to them and said, we gotta have some warranty information on here. And the warranty information is on the doors, all material is 3-year warranty, installation is a 1-year warranty. Price stayed the same at $6,420 down. So that's one of the, remember when the captain gave us all 8-page report last meeting with all the things that needed to be done. Two of the really big ones were this door, the main entrance door over here, right? Right over here.
Yeah.
Over there. And then the other one is the gate that everyone's been complaining about. The officers have been complaining about that a lot. We got the quote from Atlas Fence on that one. And also, that did not have any warranty on there whatsoever. So I went back to Pat Simcoe of Atlas Fence and asked him what the warranties were, told me wanted a 2-year warranty. He came back to me with there are 3 warranties. The Time Metal slide glass gate is a 5-year warranty. The LiftMaster slide gas operator device is 5 years. The labor for Atlas to do the work is 1 year. So I recommend that we should proceed with both of these quickly to show that the police department that we are proceeding with some of these repairs that they need very badly.
Completely agree with the immediate nature of this. It is a security issue, but I haven't seen the quote, so I'm not comfortable voting here nay. If we
Well-
need to move forward, go ahead and I'll abstain.
So Ryan Goff is attempted to get it from 3 or 4, right?
Yeah, we haven't had any success. We got 2 quotes.
But I haven't even seen what you just
Yeah.
read. Everything that you just said is verbal to me. I haven't seen any actual quotes. That's what I'm looking for. It's just some sort of formality process.
Put it on for the next meeting and. we'll take a look.
We don't have other quotes, we just have 1 quote from each one. The fence and for the door. Nobody else quoted. Ryan attempted to get other quotes, didn't get them. And when he got these, we know that these are 2 very good vendors. We've done business with them forever and ever. And they're both in DeWitt. We know they would do a really good job.
I don't disagree with any of it. I just would have liked to have seen the quotes prior to a verbal readout and then a request for approval.
I think we ought to get moving on them to show the police officers that we're doing something about the improvements over there, because they, at the last meeting, Captain White talked about how bad the situation was over there with the all the repairs that were needed, so. That's what,
Completely agree. Yeah.
what do you think, Captain?
Obviously, I think we need it. So.
That's the door you said that like people were just like coming in and out.
It doesn't latch. We've ground it down as far as we can grind it down. Our IT guy did that. So.
Is it at least closed now?
Depends on today.
How about we compromise? How about we at least get the door going and we can hold off till the next meeting because the sliding gate, while it's important, I think at least having a police department that has the ability to lock its door, I think that's an emergency.
Can you please forward me then when you get home? The
Certainly.
quote. That's all I'm asking for is a formality to the process.
How much is the door, Jack?
5,400.
Who's doing that, Rock?
Eric Johnson.
Johnson.
Jack, I'm sending your email to Sarah, to
Thank you.
the whole board.
Actually send it to all of us. Yeah.
Make a motion, we start the door.
I'll second the door.
I'm gonna give the motion to Jack.
I'll second it.
He seconded.
To keep the friction level higher.
We got 3, so we just need.
A motion from Jack and a second from Joe. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye, put a door in.
Opposed?
And with gate, we'll do next week, right?
Let's do the gate next time. That's a
Next
little
2
bigger
weeks.
expense, but I think it's very important.
Get everybody quote, Jack, and then we'll put on the gate next 2 weeks.
All right.
Sending that was fence, I'm gonna make sure that we.
I could hardly ever say this, but I'm kind of anxious to go to executive session.
It's gonna be, you're gonna get a quote on VR Johnson, they have those fronts from Mac.
I got the gate. I don't have the door though. I got to the door.
Get it sent to.
Yep.
You got a key for the door?
Yeah, sent to the door yesterday.
I saw the sliding gate one. I don't know why.
Oh, you said it yesterday, Jack?
But I didn't see,
Yeah.
I didn't see the back door, but the back door is important.
The back door is important.
Put the T on the mat.
Make a motion, we want to executive?
I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session. Nobody wants.
Second.
I have no motions.
Angie, I'll second it.
I have a motion for Bernard, a second. Joe, stop for the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion's carried.
We're still on.
Hang it up.